You see them and you see what they've done, and then when you get the opportunity, I want to win. I want to beat him as well. He's been up there a while and he's had his day. So now is my time. I'm really confident and ready to fight. I feel like it's going to be a bloodbath in there. You know, it's just going to be war, and I'm going to go to war 100%. You know, no doubt in my mind, I'm coming out victorious.
When Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois sat down with Piers Morgan, the atmosphere was calm and composed. There were no heated exchanges or raised voices, just a quiet intensity that underscored the importance of what lay ahead. This wasn't just another boxing interview. It was a meeting of pride, differing memories, and two fighters who each believed they had unfinished business.
A switch, being in a fight mode, and right now I'm just ready to get all this stuff out of the way so I can get back to what I know I do best. But right now I'm just chill, ready for a fight though.
Is there anything that he could say to you that would trigger?
Maybe, we don't know. We don't know yet.
Oleksandr, how do you feel? It's an unusual.
I feel good.
Do you mind being this close?
No problem. Listen, you know, it's like wolf, sheep, and the two box. Like a wolf said, like a relaxed. This.
Is there anything that he could say?
Their first encounter left a lasting impression, particularly for Dubois. In the fifth round, he landed a powerful body shot that sent Usyk to the canvas in visible pain. However, the referee ruled it a low blow. The bout was paused, Usyk recovered, and not long after, Dubois was stopped. For Dubois, it wasn't just a defeat, it was a moment he believes cost him the fight unfairly. The decision still weighs on him. In the interview, Dubois firmly...
Couple of years. You've come back from losing, but we're going to come to that, whether you think you lost or not in the first fight, with the alleged low blow. I have a view, I'll express it. But when you knocked out Anthony Joshua, that was the punch that went around the world. That was the punch that said, you are not only back, you're the champ. And now you're taking on the guy who's got the other belts.
Yeah.
How confident are you that you can beat him?
Very confident. Very, very confident.
But why? He's never lost.
I believe I'm going to be the first man to do it, and do it in England, do it in London. So I don't want to go on too much, but I feel like it's all built. All this road, all of what I've been through has led me to this point to become undisputed champion and do it in London and back at Wembley. So
he stood by his belief that the punch was legal. He expressed no anger, but his conviction was unshakable. Even Piers Morgan, upon watching the replay, commented that it looked like a legitimate body shot, prompting Dubois to nod in agreement. There was no need for shouting. The quiet certainty in his voice said it all. Over time, Dubois' belief in what happened that night has only grown stronger. Does
that not concern you that this guy's just made a
really? I see another opponent. To me, I feel like it's going to be a bloodbath in there. You know, it's just going to be war, and I'm going to go to war 100%. You know, no doubt in my mind, I'm coming out victorious.
From various angles. My understanding, Daniel, is that the law says if it's the belt line, a punch, it's legal.
Yeah.
From that angle, from other angles, it looks to me, I'm not an expert, but it looks to me like you hit him on the belt line.
Yeah, that's it.
Which if you had, then you would have won that fight, because Oleksandr actually took about 4 minutes, which he was allowed to do, 4 minutes before he got back into fighting. Do you feel a bit robbed by what happened there?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think it was a legitimate blow?
That really was. That landed. You didn't see him grab his balls. He went down, and that was a legitimate knockdown.
Do you think he...
From him, Usyk remained composed. He acknowledged the punch as borderline, not an obvious foul, but not entirely clean either. He didn't argue or dwell on the moment. That's typical of Usyk, calm, focused, always looking forward. For him, the rematch isn't about the past, but about solidifying...
It's not clean.
Really?
Yes.
It's very close.
Yeah. It's maybe like this, because punch was like a boom, and fist go up. Listen, it's problem for referee and coach who study clean, not как грязно, dirty punch.
Dirty punch?
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Deliberate?
This was
his dominance. Yet both men are fully invested. Dubois views this rematch as his shot at redemption. He's not just preparing for another fight. He's on a mission to reclaim a moment he believes was taken from him unjustly. This rematch isn't being driven by trash talk or media hype.
But you know the risk that you're taking, and life's a risk. You can walk outside, get run over, anything can happen. But in this sport, I'm prepared for this risk. This is a risk that I know that I've been trained from since I was, 5 or 7 years old. So
being fueled by a deep, simmering intensity. Dubois is determined to set the record straight. Usyk is focused on removing any remaining doubts. This time, both fighters are coming with clarity of purpose. No room for debate, no controversy, no confusion. Just a clean, decisive fight. And that's exactly the kind of challenge Usyk thrives in. Outside the ring, the boxing world is watching. Fans, critics, and fellow fighters are paying close attention, knowing what a rematch like this means. One of them is Anthony Joshua, who's faced Usyk twice and knows firsthand the Ukrainian skill set. Joshua acknowledged that while Dubois is a strong fighter, beating Usyk is an entirely different task. According to Joshua, Usyk doesn't rely on raw power. Instead, he wins through layers of technique, precise timing, and relentless patience. He takes control gradually, round after round, slowly dismantling his opponents. Joshua didn't rule Dubois out, but he made the challenge clear.
Against Oleksandr Usyk. Realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you if you let him. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great British boxing, good luck. We potentially might have a heavyweight championship.
Usyk makes opponents look lost, not by force, but by finesse. Still, Joshua recognized that this fight means everything for Dubois. It's about more than a title. It's about restoring pride, making a statement, and changing the course of his career. A win would shift the entire heavyweight landscape. And Joshua made one important point. Dubois isn't walking into this battle alone. He has a nation behind him, and that kind of support matters. In contrast, Simon Jordan offered a much more direct view. He didn't mince words. He's fully backing Dubois. Jordan believes this is Dubois' moment, but his confidence isn't based solely on physical ability. It's about transformation. Jordan sees a different Dubois now, a man who's grown through adversity, matured under pressure, and learned how to handle both the spotlight and the setbacks. For Jordan, Dubois is not the underdog. He's a warrior entering Wembley on a mission. However, Jordan did acknowledge a critical factor. If Dubois is to win, it must be inside the distance. Outboxing Usyk over 12 rounds is nearly impossible. The Ukrainian's footwork, ring IQ, and defensive acumen are too refined. So for Dubois, the path is clear. Go for the finish. Dubois trainer Don Charles.
To Oleksandr Usyk, and there's no favoritism here. I think it's Daniel Dubois' time. I think he's a ferocious
have to agree with
beast. Yeah, absolutely. and I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think what walked into Wembley Stadium was an absolute gladiator, and I'm thrilled for him that he's coming out of himself, growing as a man, becoming more worldly and able to communicate with the media, and I think it's going to be a fabulous fight.
Do you believe that he can get it done inside the distance?
I think he has to get done inside the distance.
Yeah. You don't think he can win on points?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely. But whatever.
Charles shares that view with complete certainty. He isn't just hoping for a knockout, he's building an entire strategy around it. For Charles, there's no scenario where Dubois edges Usyk on points. The team has studied the previous fight, and the lessons are clear. against a technician like Usyk, you don't rely on the judges. Charles was blunt. Usyk's experience and ring generalship make him nearly untouchable over 12 rounds. The goal is to apply relentless pressure, control the tempo, and force Usyk into uncomfortable territory. Charles wants Dubois to drag Usyk into deep waters, to make him feel every moment of the fight, physically and mentally. Even if the bout goes the distance, Charles doesn't want Usyk walking away unscathed. The mission is to leave a mark, to ensure that every round is a war. For Don Charles, July 19th isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a chance to rewrite history. And he firmly believes that Dubois will walk out of the ring with his hand raised. This rematch isn't about controversy anymore.
Usyk out to win this fight. And is he walking in against the same Usyk, given the fact that Usyk's been in 2 battles with Tyson Fury?
Yeah, you're not going to win a boxing match against Usyk.
It's got to knock him out.
I think let's all agree on that.
Yeah. So that's
the same thing when we went to Poland. We're not going to outbox Usyk and win on points. The same thing applies to this this fight, upcoming fight. Yeah, by any means necessary. But if it happens to go points, Usyk won't be in a good state to. We will win. But the game plan is to go there, seek and destroy. Always is. And
it's about closure. For Usyk, it's a chance to reaffirm his greatness. For Dubois, it's about redemption, pride, and proving that what happened last time was a moment that didn't define him, but one he's now ready to overcome. The countdown is on, and the stakes couldn't be higher. From a trainer's war plan to a pundit's perspective, Spencer Oliver offers a more balanced yet passionate view of what's to come in the highly anticipated rematch between Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk. When asked whether this clash would be a repeat of their first encounter or a story of redemption, Oliver didn't hesitate. "You'd be foolish," he said, "to bet against Oleksandr Usyk." To Oliver, Usyk isn't just holding the belts, he's the top heavyweight of this era. A master strategist in the ring, Usyk doesn't just survive pressure from the division's most powerful punchers, he beats them. He outboxed Anthony Joshua twice and held his own in a grueling battle with Tyson Fury. Usyk always finds a way to win. But Oliver isn't dismissing the threat Dubois brings to the table. In fact, he called Dubois the most dangerous heavyweight in the game right now, especially in the early rounds. If Dubois can land clean within the first 5, he has the potential to flip.
It's not set on the fence here. How does the rematch go? Repeat or revenge?
I think you'd be stupid to not say repeat, because Oleksandr Usyk is the #1 heavyweight of our generation. But if there's any one heavyweight out there right now that can give Usyk trouble or possibly beat him, it is Daniel Dubois. But I go with Usyk because you would be stupid not to. The guy's a genius at what he does in the ring, and he proved he can tough it out with Tyson Fury, those 2 victories over Fury, the 2 victories over Anthony Joshua. He can deal with the big men as well, so he always finds a way. Usyk is one of the best fighters of all time in the heavyweight division.
We were having this chat before we came on air as we ran through our notes tonight, and I do agree with you. I think that it's hard to pick against Usyk, but I truly believe that for 5 rounds, and I think he should try and detonate, for 5 rounds, Dynamite Dubois, Triple D, will be very, very dangerous.
He's the most dangerous heavyweight in the division that can give him
the script entirely. That kind of raw, explosive power makes this rematch compelling. Still, Oliver made one thing clear. Dubois can't afford to be patient. He must apply pressure early and push for a decisive finish. Because once Usyk finds his rhythm, he becomes almost impossible to beat. While Oliver leans toward a Usyk victory, he's also quick to remind everyone that with the kind of power Dubois possesses, everything can change in a single moment. Building off Oliver's technical breakdown of Usyk's dominance, we shift focus to a wider storyline, one that Chris Algieri sees as perfect for a blockbuster event. Algieri takes a step back from the footwork and punch statistics to spotlight the narrative driving this fight. And let's be honest, this rematch is one of the most captivating story arcs in modern heavyweight boxing. Following the controversial stoppage in their first fight, Dubois didn't just disappear, he roared back. He silenced critics with an impressive tier through the division, culminating in a massive victory over Anthony Joshua. Algieri points out that this resurgence turned Dubois from a doubted prospect into a feared contender. He's no longer seen as someone who folds under pressure. He's now...
Narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has like really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy. So this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something, good chance it's going to happen. So I believe the narrative is there, for this fight, obviously, and this is one of the reasons.
The fighter who could break you. The stage was perfectly set when Dubois stormed the ring after Usyk's win over Tyson Fury, issuing a fiery challenge. Usyk, calm as ever, simply nodded and said, "Make the fight." According to Algieri, when Usyk makes a statement like that, it carries real weight, because he always follows through. This rematch isn't just about titles or rankings anymore, it's about redemption, legacy, and closure. And that's what makes this clash so electrifying. Tony Bellew didn't hold back either. He dubbed Usyk the undisputed king of the heavyweight division. The man
guys are begging now for the payday because they know who the king is.
That's right.
And these guys need him. He doesn't need them. No. Oleksandr Usyk can choose to fight whoever he wants. He is now the draw in the heavyweight division. He is the big name. Yeah. And I take my hat off to Anthony Joshua. I take my hat off to Tyson Fury because they had the cojones to face him, as did Daniel Dubois. But let's not get away from anything. Daniel Dubois fought him once, and we've seen how that fight went. Yeah. Everyone goes on about a shot. Let's just be brutally honest. It hit the protector. Why is it called a protector? Because it protects you from certain shots. Was it like? Did anyone look at the belt line of Tyson Fury before the fight?
It was high, wasn't it? Yeah, really high.
I was going to ask what's the neck on them shorts. But it was nuts. But no one said anything. No. But then ultimately when Oleksandr Usyk fights Daniel Dubois and his shorts are on his navel and you can clearly see his belly button at times in the fight, no one said all of a sudden his shorts are high. So it's whatever suits people's narrative and agendas at the time. The people who are Fury fans, they want to say Usyk's done this or he's robbed that. The people who are Dubois fans, just look at the cold hard facts. He hits him on the protector. The protector's called the protector for a reason. And then ultimately look at how the fight ended up. I mean, he had enough on his knee.
And every other fighter is chasing. According to Bellew, fighters like Dubois aren't chasing legacy. They're chasing the payday. He acknowledged the efforts of Joshua and Fury for stepping up to the challenge. But when it came to Dubois, Bellew was brutally honest. Regarding the controversial fifth-round punch, Bellew dismissed the uproar entirely. To him, the shot landed on the belt protector. That's exactly what it's there for. All the arguments and drama, he says, are just noise. Dubois went down to one knee. Usyk stayed standing. That, according to Bellew, speaks volumes. And so, the stage is set. Two contrasting heavyweights are on a collision course. Usyk, the calm, calculated tactician who has faced giants and emerged victorious. And Dubois, the reborn powerhouse, driven not by doubt, but by determination and knockout potential. This rematch goes beyond championship belts. It's about redemption, it's about legacy, it's about writing the next chapter in heavyweight boxing history. On July 19th, the world will be watching. Who will rise? Who will fall? And who will leave the ring with eternal glory? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.